Today, we're diving into a wonder buried over 2,000 feet beneath solid rock. The Cheyenne Mountain Complex, located in the southwestern corner of Colorado Springs. This is not only an engineering marvel, but also a symbol of America's defensive strength. Are you ready? Cheyenne Mountain was excavated by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to construct the NORAD Combat Operations Center, North American Aerospace Defense Command, which officially became operational on April 20, 1966. Over time, it has become the headquarters for several key strategic units, including the United States Air Force Space Command, the United States Strategic Command, and the United States Northern Command. However, let's rewind to 1962, the height of the Cold War. The Cuban Missile Crisis brought the United States and the Soviet Union to the brink of nuclear war. After pledging to protect Cuba in May 1960, the Soviet Union installed medium-range ballistic missiles in Cuba, hoping to deter us interference. These missiles, however, had the capability to strike most of the U.S. East Coast within minutes, a threat the U.S. could not tolerate. On October 14, 1962, a US U-2 reconnaissance plane discovered missiles on launch pads in Cuba. Faced with this situation, President John F. Kennedy opted not to invade immediately, but instead ordered a naval blockade around Cuba to prevent Soviet ships from delivering offensive weapons. During those tense days, diplomatic messages were exchanged between the two superpowers. Finally, on October 28, 1962, the Soviet Union agreed to withdraw its missiles from Cuba in exchange for a US pledge not to invade Cuba and a secret agreement to remove nuclear missiles from Turkey. A global crisis was narrowly averted. Interestingly, the Cheyenne Mountain Complex was completed just before this crisis, highlighting the critical role of a robust command and control facility in protecting the U.S. from long-range attacks. NORAD, or the North American Aerospace Defense Command, is a joint effort between the U.S. and Canada, established to monitor aerospace activities, ensuring early detection of ballistic missiles and other aerial threats. The founders of NORAD were well aware that their command centers would be among the first targets in the event of nuclear war. Out of fear of being blinded by the Soviet Union, the US and Canada collaborated in the 1960s to create this artificial cave. Located more than 2,300 feet underground, the steel-reinforced structures were designed to shield personnel from earthquakes and even external nuclear blasts. From 1966 to 2006, this base served as the primary command and control center for NORAD. It was also home to the U.S. Space Command headquarters from 1985 to 2002. Since 2006, NORAD and NORTHCOM, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, a joint organization between Canada and the US, have been tasked with providing warnings of airborne threats to the region. They have utilized the Cheyenne Mountain Complex to track objects in space and remotely monitor the nuclear and ballistic missile programs of nations Washington considers adversaries, such as North Korea and Iran. Notably, during the COVID-19 pandemic, several key units of NORTHCOM were relocated to work inside the Cheyenne Mountain Bunker under orders from the Cheyenne Mountain Bunker, under orders from the Pentagon, preparing for worst-case scenarios caused by the outbreak. Cheyenne Mountain stands approximately 9,500 feet tall, with the tunnel entrance located about 20,000 feet from the summit. Underground reservoirs carved into solid rock supply drinking and utility water for personnel, while a diesel storage facility powers 6 locomotive-sized diesel generators providing electricity for the entire underground city. NORAD and the US Air Force monitor the skies over North America to detect ballistic missiles, space debris, and enemy aircraft. Cheyenne Mountain is situated south of Colorado Springs, the second largest city in Colorado. Just over 100 feet away are Peterson Air Force Base and Fort Carson. Anyone wishing to enter the underground base must pass through 2 security checkpoints. The uniquely designed interior doors tighten further in the event of an explosion. The entrance to the Cheyenne Mountain complex features a steel door weighing 55,000 pounds, engineered to withstand nearly all types of attacks, including nuclear, biological, and electromagnetic pulses. Imagine standing in front of that door. You would feel the immense power of technology and absolute security here. Everyone entering the complex must clear strict security checkpoints. Unauthorized individuals are immediately asked to leave the premises. Inside, military personnel monitor the surrounding area closely via massive screens, reporting any anomalies to their superiors. The entrance to the Cheyenne Mountain complex is adorned with the emblems of 4 key organizations: NORAD, North American Aerospace Defense Command, US Northern Command, Air Force Space Command, and US Strategic Command. Beyond being a military complex, it is equipped with various amenities, including a medical clinic, a store, and a cafeteria. The facility even features a gym both inside and outside the mountain, providing optimal living conditions for personnel stationed there. The staff working inside the underground base include American and Canadian military personnel, along with civilian contractors supporting military operations. Approximately 350 people work in this fortified bunker during the day, with an additional 170 personnel on night shifts. NORAD can move its entire operations into the underground bunker during emergencies. However, under normal conditions, operations are conducted at Peterson Air Force Base nearby. Thanks to being primarily constructed from granite, Cheyenne Mountain is resistant to electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic pulses, EMP, often accompanying nuclear explosions, can fry electronic devices, including phones, laptops, cameras, radios, GPS devices, and even vehicles. While personnel work in isolation deep within the mountain, they maintain communication with the outside world through satellite networks. The most remarkable feature of the Cheyenne Mountain complex is its design, which can withstand nuclear blasts or strong earthquakes. Over 1,000 massive springs are installed beneath 15 buildings, allowing the structures to move up to an inch in any direction. Additionally, flexible conduits are integrated to ensure infrastructure systems remain intact during large explosions. If you've ever seen a Hollywood movie about military bases, you now understand why Cheyenne Mountain is considered an impregnable fortress. Currently, the complex is managed by the Air Force Space Command and serves as a backup command center for NORAD and US Northern Command. However, with modern advancements, many of the complex's original functions have been relocated to Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado Springs. Remarkably, only 30 of the complex's area is utilized, and NORAD personnel make up just 5 of the total workforce there. Throughout history, the Cheyenne Mountain complex has played a crucial role in US defense, supporting missions to warn against missile and air attacks on North America. But did you know that Cheyenne Mountain isn't the only one of its kind? Since the 1960s, the US military has developed numerous other underground facilities, including missile silos, vertical structures buried deep underground and protected by doors weighing up to 240,000 pounds. From the outside, these doors appear to be massive concrete slabs, but behind them lie advanced missile, launch systems ready to respond to any threat. Today, the Cheyenne Mountain Complex remains an essential part of the U.S. government's doomsday contingency plans. In the event of an imminent threat to the U.S., such as a nuclear attack, the President, their officials, and teams of political, military, and civilian leaders will be immediately evacuated to this base and 3 other secure and secret facilities. These facilities include the White House Presidential Emergency Operations Center, Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center, and the Raven Rock Mountain Complex, all designed to operate the country from deep underground. What do you think about the development of such underground bases? Does this signify America's preparation for future threats? Share your thoughts with Navy Power in the comments section below. Behind those heavy steel doors, what awaits? It's hard for the average person to imagine, but inside each missile silo is a highly sophisticated integrated launch control system. However, for intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, like the Minuteman III, the launch crew does not work at individual silos. Instead, 2 launch control officers operate from an underground launch control center, connected via heavily reinforced cables to 10 other silos. This system is known as a flight, a group of silos spaced 10 to 20 miles apart to minimize damage if attacked, forming part of the US military's optimal defense strategy. The Launch Control Center doesn't operate in isolation. All centers within a flight are linked to a missile alert facility where launch crews remain on standby 24/7 and maintain constant communication with the President and the Secretary of Defense. Currently, the US operates approximately 450 ICBMs ready to launch from these silos, a number that demonstrates unparalleled deterrent power. In the face of potential threats, the US military promptly informs the President of the consequences of responding with an ICBM launch. Should the President decide to proceed, the Pentagon's War Room is notified to generate the launch command sequence. For activation, the launch crew follows a rigorous inspection process to ensure everything is in perfect condition. Personnel enter the silo via an elevator to inspect the missile body, navigation systems, propulsion mechanisms, and safety devices within the launch equipment room. When all systems are confirmed operational, the team receives the final command to proceed. The launch sequence begins with a dramatic countdown, and everyone must vacate the area near the silo for safety reasons. Finally, the ICBM is launched from the silo, heading towards its target while its trajectory is closely monitored by the team until the mission is completed. Land-based ICBMs form one leg of the nuclear triad, which also includes submarine, launched missiles, and long-range bomber aircraft. ICBMs are considered highly accurate and the most readily deployable deterrent weapons. Within less than 5 minutes of receiving an attack order, missiles can be quickly launched from a silos. From there, an ICBM takes approximately 30 minutes to traverse the globe and reach predetermined targets, such as North Korea, Russia, or China. Consequently, ICBMs are often among the first targets in a nuclear war scenario. In recent decades, the Pentagon has continuously sought safer locations to house ICBM silos. These missiles need to be situated in locations that are difficult to target or can withstand a preemptive strike. Moreover, ICBMs must be placed far from densely populated areas and operated in compliance with strict environmental regulations. Deploying nuclear weapons remains a challenging endeavor, requiring a delicate balance between deterrence and risk. Recent documents reveal that the US Air Force has considered multiple options for the LOGMOM. 35A Sentinel ICBM. One proposal involved placing the silos beneath a deep lake. In this scenario, the Sentinel missiles would be housed in waterproof containers anchored to the lake bed. Upon receiving an attack order, the containers would detach from their anchors and float to the surface. At that point, the missile engines would ignite and the Sentinel missile would launch. However, this plan was abandoned because the missiles and their thermonuclear warheads would lack the protective security provided by reinforced concrete silos. Additionally, the risk of nuclear material leakage is a significant concern from an environmental protection standpoint. To implement this concept effectively, the US Air Force would need to construct underwater silos, which would entail substantial construction and maintenance costs to ensure efficient missile operation. The second option involves building underground tunnel systems. In this scenario, traditional silos would be replaced with a network of underground tunnels connected by rail systems. According to this approach, missiles would be transported on trains. Upon receiving an attack order, the missile would launch through the ground, activating its engines to complete its flight. The advantage of this project lies in making it difficult for adversaries to pinpoint the exact locations of ICBMs during a conflict. However, once again, the US Air Force had to abandon this option due to its exorbitant cost. The project would require digging numerous kilometers of tunnels, ensuring structural integrity, and constructing a robust underground railway network. Ultimately, the US Air Force decided to load the LGEM, 35 Sentinel missiles, into the existing silos previously used for the Minuteman III missiles. Reusing Minuteman III silos is far more cost-effective, easier to maintain, and significantly safer. Cheyenne Mountain Complex symbolizes robust defensive strength, housing critical aerospace and air defense agencies. Meanwhile, the Minuteman missile facilities represent offensive power with their exceptional ICBM launch capabilities. The seamless coordination of defensive and offensive roles at these two complexes demonstrates how the US military adapts to counter modern threats.
Born from the desire to conquer new limits, the Hermes team was formed with the mission of introducing the hypersonic quarter horse, a breakthrough in hypersonic aircraft design. This is not just a technological product, it is also a symbol of a completely new era of flight, where journeys spanning thousands of miles are completed in just a few minutes, and speed becomes the ultimate measure of success. In today's video, join the Navy Power Channel as we explore the details of this hypersonic technology. Could it open up a new future for the aviation industry and change the way we perceive modern military power? When talking about supersonic flight, many people immediately think of the legendary Concorde, developed through a collaboration between the UK and France. This aircraft once reached speeds of 1,354 mph, Mach 2, twice as fast as conventional commercial planes. However, while that speed was incredibly impressive, it still didn't reach the threshold of hypersonic flight, which begins at Mach 5, about 3,836 mph and beyond, a range that current technology is aiming for. The Concorde's final flight took place more than 20 years ago, in November 2003. On that historic flight, the Concorde set a record flying from New York to Seattle in just 3 hours, 55 minutes, and 12 seconds, a record that no commercial airplane has yet broken. However, due to restrictions on supersonic flight over US airspace, much of the Concorde's route had to pass over Canadian airspace, where there are fewer residents and less stringent regulations compared to the US. Although the Concorde closed a chapter in aviation history, it left behind a massive legacy, with its speed records and unparalleled luxury that no other plane can match. It was not just a symbol of technological advancement, but also paved the way for future research into supersonic flight. These studies could completely change the aviation industry in the future, opening the door to new advancements in speed, efficiency, and the application of hypersonic technology in civilian aviation. Now Hermes, an ambitious startup, not only aims to replace the Concorde, but also plans to surpass it in every aspect. This startup has set a bold goal: to transport passengers from New York to London in just 90 minutes, a journey the Concorde took nearly 3 hours to complete. Behind this vision is CEO Ajay Piplicka, along with a talented engineering team who have worked at industry giants such as SpaceX and Blue Origin. They are not just dreaming of innovation, but are determined to redefine the entire aviation industry, allowing us to cross the Atlantic in under an hour and a half. Their project began with the Quarter Horse, a hypersonic, unmanned prototype, and its initial goal is nothing less than breaking the record set by the legendary SR-71 Blackbird reconnaissance aircraft. The SR-71 Blackbird is the fastest military aircraft ever built, with a top speed of Mach 3.3, 2,193 miles per hour. Hermes's Quarter Horse is designed to reach Mach 5, surpassing even the SR-71, and it represents the first step in the journey to conquer hypersonic speeds. To achieve this, a powerful engine, several times more powerful than the Pratt & Whitney J58 engine of the Blackbird, is essential. The J58 engine, which helped the Blackbird reach Mach 3, was developed in the 1950s and was capable of sustaining high speeds at high altitudes. However, this engine could not operate efficiently below Mach 2.5 and struggled to decelerate. Hermes recognized that to break this record, they needed to develop an engine capable of sustaining hypersonic speeds efficiently across various conditions. But the Hermes team did not choose the easy path. They developed their own engine, named Chimera, a name that not only evokes the fire-breathing monster from Greek mythology, but also reflects the unique nature of this hybrid engine. Chimera is a turbine-based combined-cycle TBCC engine, combining the advantages of a turbojet, ramjet, and scramjet. The TBCC technology allows the Quarter Horse to operate efficiently at various speeds, from startup to maintaining hypersonic speeds, which is crucial for future commercial flights. Each type of engine has its own strengths and weaknesses, and combining them is a significant leap forward in the development of reusable hypersonic aircraft. A turbojet engine can start from a standstill and fly past Mach 2. However, once it reaches speeds above Mach 5, it encounters major operational efficiency issues. Still, it is highly useful during the startup phase, helping the aircraft accelerate from 0 to Mach 2. Conversely, when the aircraft reaches Mach 2, the ramjet engine is activated. A ramjet can maintain hypersonic speeds efficiently, but it has problems operating at low speeds, especially before the aircraft reaches the necessary speed to activate it. The scramjet engine, developed to operate at extremely high speeds above Mach 5, can sustain hypersonic speeds. However, it also faces challenges during startup and maintaining operation at lower speeds. The flexible combination of these three types of engines maximizes the performance of each engine, and the ability to seamlessly transition between them is a significant technological challenge. When the aircraft reaches Mach 2, the engine system automatically switches to ramjet and scramjet to sustain and increase the hypersonic speed. Transitioning between these engines requires a highly complex control system, as the engines must operate continuously and without interruption, ensuring engine efficiency throughout the flight. In just 21 months, and with an investment of $18 million, Hermes successfully completed and tested Chimera, achieving a significant milestone in transitioning from turbojet to ramjet, a major step in developing reusable hypersonic aircraft. Chimera has demonstrated the ability to sustain hypersonic speeds and perform rapid engine transitions, an essential factor for the future of hypersonic aviation. In November 2022, they successfully demonstrated the ability to transition between these two engines, marking a crucial milestone in reusable hypersonic technology. But this is just the beginning. To achieve even greater results, the next version of the Chimera engine, Chimera 2, will be based on the Pratt & Whitney F-100 engine, a model already equipped in the F-15 Eagle and F-16 Fighting Falcon fighter jets. The F-100 engine is one of the most reliable and powerful jet engines used in military aviation. Designed to provide steady and powerful thrust for heavy fighter jets, the F-100 can reach speeds of Mach 2.5, about 1,900 miles per hour. Notably, the F-100 can sustain high power over long flights and requires the ability to operate stably in harsh conditions, which is crucial for developing hypersonic and reusable aircraft. These characteristics have made the F-100 engine the ideal choice for Chimera 2. Using the F-100 not only provides superior power, but also ensures that the engine will maintain high and sustainable speeds over long durations, key in overcoming the current limits of hypersonic technology. Chimera 2 will bring a major advancement in operational efficiency and the ability to sustain hypersonic speeds. By using the F-100 engine, the new version will be able to maintain Mach 2.5 speeds over extended periods without experiencing performance degradation, something earlier engines struggled with when maintaining hypersonic speeds for too long. Additionally, Chimera 2 will optimize the engine transition process. Improvements in the control system and energy transfer will make the aircraft more flexible during engine transitions, ensuring that the switch from turbojet to ramjet and scramjet occurs smoothly and rapidly. This means that Chimera 2 will not only break speed limits, but also enhance transition capabilities and operate continuously without interruption. The combination of the powerful F-100 engine and TBCC technology will provide a solid foundation for the future development of reusable hypersonic aircraft. The path ahead for Hermes and Chimera 2 technology still presents many challenges. Integrating the F-100 engine into a TBCC system requires fine-tuning and testing to ensure these engines can operate in sync without performance issues. Moreover, the technology needs to be optimized to reduce fuel consumption and improve reusability, a key factor in lowering costs and increasing feasibility in the commercial aviation industry. However, with the impressive achievements the Hermes team has made in a short period, the future of reusable hypersonic technology is becoming clearer than ever. Chimera 2 is not only a monumental leap in speed and performance, but also opens the door to a new era in aircraft design and development, capable of flying at sustainable and efficient hypersonic speeds from military to civilian applications. You can't help but be amazed when imagining the possibility of reducing the flight time from New York to London to just 90 minutes. Could this be a groundbreaking breakthrough in aviation history, or just a distant dream? We would love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments below. Hermes is not stopping at Quarterhorse but has expanded its vision with two other breakthrough aircraft, a multi-purpose hypersonic UAV for national defense and security, and the Halcyon hypersonic passenger jet. Halcyon is a revolutionary hypersonic passenger jet that Hermes is developing, promising to become a new icon in the aviation industry. Not only is it a technological advancement, but Halcyon also represents a paradigm shift in how we think about air travel. The aircraft can perform over 125 transoceanic routes, reaching speeds 5 times faster than current commercial jets, drastically reducing flight times between major cities worldwide. With its sophisticated design and ability to fly at hypersonic speeds, Halcyon not only offers rapid travel, but also creates extraordinary and comfortable flight experiences for passengers. Developed with a strategic vision to surpass current limits, Halcyon is one of Hermes's most important steps, opening the potential to transform the aviation and military industries in the near future. However, before looking at the promising milestones ahead, let's take a deeper dive with Navy Power into the strategic asset known as Quarterhorse, the hypersonic UAV from Hermes, with exceptional potential not only in military applications, but also in civilian use. The Hermes team kicked off 2024 impressively by completing the ground test for Quarterhorse Mk0, testing technologies and integration capabilities for this vehicle. Following these achievements, Hermes also announced its short-term development roadmap with 4 versions: Mk0, Mk1, Mk2, and Mk3, which promise to be pivotal steps in revolutionizing the aviation industry. Mk0 is the crucial first step in testing the integration of high-tech systems, allowing Hermes to evaluate features like remote control, radio frequency, RF latency, and ground processing systems. The Mk0 tests were successfully conducted at the Arnold Engineering Development Complex, AEDC, in Tennessee, achieving important goals, including remote control tests, RF latency evaluations, and testing ground system characteristics of the integrated systems. Notably, they also tested the pilot's control capabilities in the event of a loss of communication and evaluated human factors, ensuring the autonomous system could operate effectively in situations where communication with ground control was lost. This is crucial for military missions, where hypersonic aircraft may need to operate in electronic warfare environments or lose signal. In just 6 months, the team successfully designed and built Mk0, completing test objectives in just 37 days, a remarkable achievement. A highlight of the development process was the incredibly fast manufacturing and testing timeline. Completing Mk0 in just 6 months and achieving test goals within 37 days demonstrates the efficiency of the flexible development process and the team's ability to work with advanced technologies. The engineering team at Hermes worked tirelessly to ensure that all systems operated in sync and efficiently. Notably, in March of this year, Hermes unveiled the next version, Quarterhorse Mk1, promising new advancements in hypersonic aircraft development. The Mk1 version not only improves on Mk0's features, but also includes significant changes to enhance hypersonic flight capabilities. The aircraft will undergo tests for high-speed takeoff and landing at Edwards Air Force Base, one of the U.S. Air Force's key testing facilities. Edwards has been the site of major milestones in aviation and defense development, from advanced fighter aircraft projects to UAV testing. The aircraft is set to take off by the end of 2024 from the legendary Edwards Air Force Base, with the goal of proving its high-speed takeoff and landing capabilities, a critical factor for future hypersonic aircraft. Hermes's development speed is truly impressive, with each aircraft taking only 7 months to build, setting a new standard for testing and development speed in the aviation industry. However, while Mk0 and Mk1 use the Chimera engine based on the General Electric J85, Quarterhorse Mk2 will feature Chimera 2, powered by the Pratt & Whitney F100 engine, one of the most powerful engines today. The Pratt & Whitney F100 is a powerful and widely used engine in fighter aircraft, such as the F-15 and F-16. This engine provides a strong thrust capable of reaching Mach 2.5 and beyond, and can operate continuously in harsh conditions. With Chimera 2, Hermes not only upgrades the hypersonic flight capabilities, but also improves aircraft stability and performance at high speeds. In addition to sustaining Mach 2.5 speeds and achieving even higher velocities, Quarterhorse Mk2 optimizes the engine transition process, allowing the aircraft to operate smoothly and stably in different flight phases, from takeoff to sustaining hypersonic speeds. A standout feature of Mk2 is its ability to operate sustainably at extreme speeds. Thanks to proprietary cooling technology tested since May 2024, Chimera 2 allows the F100 engine to maintain stable performance even when the aircraft flies at Mach 3 and beyond without overheating issues. This not only enables Quarterhorse Mk2 to perform long-range flights, but also opens up the potential for strategic missions requiring speed and endurance. Furthermore, Mk2 has been enhanced for reusability, reducing operational costs compared to traditional aircraft. This will help usher in a new era in hypersonic aviation, with the ability to reuse aircraft multiple times without compromising performance or safety. With the combination of the engine and cooling system, Mk3 of Quarterhorse is expected to achieve speeds of up to Mach 2.5. The primary goal during this phase is to break the sound barrier and demonstrate the ability to fly at hypersonic speeds under Mach 3. Mk3 will test the ability to transition from turbojet to ramjet mode in flight, a crucial test to ensure the aircraft can maintain optimal performance across the entire speed range. Demonstrating the ability to break the sound barrier and maintain hypersonic flight throughout the journey will bring Hermes closer to the goal of breaking the current airspeed record held by the SR-71 Blackbird, the fastest aircraft ever built. Finally, Mk3 will demonstrate the ability to transition from turbojet to ramjet mode in flight, breaking the all-time airspeed record of the SR-71 Blackbird. One of the key goals of Mk3 is to demonstrate the ability to switch between engine modes without compromising speed or performance. This is a groundbreaking test, as it could pave the way for hypersonic autonomous aircraft to operate more flexibly in various situations. The future of hypersonic travel will pass through the Mach 4 threshold of quarter-horse Mk3. When Mk3 reaches Mach 4, quarter-horse will not only be a fast transportation vehicle, but also a milestone in the development of hypersonic tourism. This aircraft could take passengers from New York to London in under 90 minutes, a distance that currently takes hours on commercial flights. Although Hermes has not yet disclosed the exact timeline for the project's completion, aviation experts predict that they will reach this significant milestone by the end of 2025, marking a major breakthrough in the hypersonic aviation industry. With tremendous progress in research and development, Hermes has earned strong trust from NASA and the U.S. Air Force and attracted special attention from Sam Altman, the founder of ChatGPT, through a massive funding grant of hundreds of millions of dollars. This funding not only helps Hermes accelerate its scale-up development, but also confirms that the project is attracting widespread interest from the global investment community and technology experts. Sam Altman, with his strategic vision for future technology, believes that Hermes can not only revolutionize the hypersonic aviation industry, but also lead to breakthroughs in defense and other technology sectors. This project promises to create significant and unpredictable impacts, changing the way we think about the future of the aviation industry. Can Hermes exceed expectations and break the SR-71 speed record in 2025? The answer remains to be seen, and their challenging journey will surely be one of the most anticipated stories in the near future. This raises questions. Is this a sign of a shift in the global balance of power, or merely a show of force? What do these developments mean for peace on the world stage? Since the end of World War II, the U.S. has maintained a formidable naval presence in the Pacific. This strategic commitment not only safeguards critical shipping lanes, but also serves as a floating ambassador of U.S. foreign policy. But can the U.S. Navy still rise to the challenges of today's volatile era? Join Navy Power as we uncover the answers in this video. Over the decades, the U.S. Navy's role in the Pacific has evolved to adapt to emerging threats and technological advancements. From Cold War confrontations with the Soviet Union to recent concerns over China's maritime ambitions, the U.S. fleet has long symbolized strength and stability in this vast ocean. However, in recent years, the geopolitical currents in the Pacific have shifted dramatically. Have you noticed the changes? China's rapid military modernization, particularly the expansion of its naval forces, has alarmed U.S. policymakers and regional allies alike. Beijing's construction of artificial islands in the South China Sea, coupled with its ambitious maritime claims, raises questions about its long-term strategy. China began building and expanding artificial islands in the South China Sea, especially in the Spratly Islands, in 2014. These activities include land reclamation and infrastructure development on reefs. By 2018, The total area of the artificial islands constructed by China had reached approximately 5.1 square miles. On these islands, China has built military facilities such as runways about 9,800 feet long, ports capable of accommodating large warships, missile systems, radars, and other military infrastructure. These actions have faced opposition and concerns from regional nations and the international community for violating international law and escalating regional tensions. Meanwhile, Russia, though primarily focused on Europe, is also seeking to reassert its influence in the Pacific. The modernization of Russia's Pacific Fleet and its deepening partnership with China suggest Moscow's intent to challenge the established maritime order. In September 2024, two advanced strategic submarines, Emperor Alexander III and Krasnoyarsk, were transferred from the Northern Fleet to the Vilyuchinsk base on the Kamchatka Peninsula, joining the Pacific Fleet. The Emperor Alexander III is a Borei-class submarine equipped with 16 Bulava intercontinental ballistic missiles, while the Krasnoyarsk is a Yasen-class submarine armed with Onyx anti-ship missiles and Kalibr PL cruise missiles. Additionally, Russia has bolstered its Pacific Fleet with diesel-electric submarines from the Project 636.3 series, each estimated to cost $300 to $400 million. Are these actions merely temporary tactics or part of a long-term strategy to reshape the global balance of power? China and Russia are increasing naval activities in the Pacific, driven by complex geopolitical motives. For China, controlling the Pacific is a critical component of its strategy to become a global superpower. This ocean serves not only as a vital economic corridor, but also as a key route for energy and export shipments. By expanding its naval presence, China aims to secure shipping lanes and project power beyond its coastal waters. Beyond military enhancements, Beijing is pursuing security agreements with Pacific island nations, such as the Solomon Islands, to establish a security presence and extend its influence in the region. China has implemented a major power diplomacy and neighborhood diplomacy strategy to establish strategic partnerships with countries in the region, notably through the Belt and Road Initiative, to foster economic and infrastructure cooperation. Meanwhile, Russia views the Pacific as an opportunity to restore its global influence. With much of its western region tied to NATO, Moscow has shifted its focus to the Pacific to establish a new strategic counterbalance, particularly through partnerships with China. Is this a smart move for Russia to capitalize on the resource-rich Far East and its strategic ports? In your opinion, do these actions by China and Russia push the Pacific toward the brink of heightened tensions? And if the US aims to maintain its position in the region, what steps should it take next? Controlling trade routes in the Pacific not only offers China significant economic advantages, but also creates substantial leverage in the region. For Russia, the development of its Far East regions and the exploitation of Arctic resources are seen as primary economic drivers. The Northern Sea route, increasingly viable due to climate change, offers enormous economic potential and strategic advantages for Russia. But will these nations stop at economic ambitions alone? The South China Sea has become a hotspot for escalating naval confrontations. In 2021, a U.S. Navy destroyer conducted a freedom of navigation operation near the Paracel Islands, an area claimed by China. In immediate response, the Chinese military closely monitored the U.S. ship and issued warnings. Similar incidents have occurred with increasing frequency, with both sides accusing each other of provocative actions. In May 2023, a Chinese J-16 fighter jet made a dangerously close approach to a U.S. RC-135 reconnaissance aircraft operating in international airspace over the South China Sea. This perilously close maneuver not only caused air turbulence, but also forced the RC-135 to shake violently, endangering flight safety and heightening tensions in the already sensitive region. Most recently, in June 2024, tensions between China and the Philippines in the South China Sea escalated further, with U.S. officials warning that if left unchecked, these actions could lead to miscalculations. On June 17th, U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller stated, "The United States stands with its ally, the Philippines, and condemns China's escalating and irresponsible actions." Miller highlighted instances of Chinese ships employing water cannons, ramming, obstructing, and towing damaged Philippine vessels, endangering the lives of Filipino personnel. "These reckless actions threaten peace and stability in the region," he said. U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines, Mary Kay Carlson, expressed similar sentiments on social media, condemning China's aggressive and dangerous actions that harmed Philippine vessels and disrupted the country's legitimate maritime activities. Beyond the South China Sea, the waters surrounding Taiwan have also seen alarming escalations. In April 2023, China's Shandong aircraft carrier conducted exercises east of Taiwan, prompting the U.S. to deploy the USS Nimitz Carrier Strike Group to the area. These simultaneous military activities not only escalate geopolitical tensions, but also raise the risk of miscalculation that could lead to disaster. Although direct confrontations between Russia and the U.S. occur less frequently than those between the U.S. and China, tensions still exist. In November 2022, a Russian destroyer came within just 200 feet of a U.S. cruiser in the Sea of Japan, with both sides accusing each other of unsafe maneuvers. The Russian side stated that the Admiral Tribute's destroyer approached and warned the USS Chaffee of its violation, demanding the U.S. ship leave the area. When the two vessels came as close as 200 feet, the USS Chaffee altered course and exited the disputed waters. Russia summoned the U.S. military attaché in Moscow to protest what it deemed unprofessional actions by the USS Chaffee. However, the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command dismissed Russia's accusations, asserting that the USS Chaffee was conducting routine operations in international waters and did not violate international law. The U.S. maintained that the interaction between the two ships was safe and professional. As a military enthusiast, what's your take on the risks posed by such incidents? Share your thoughts with the Navy Power Team in the comments below. A noteworthy development is the growing frequency of joint naval exercises between Russia and China. In October 2023, the two nations held their largest ever naval drills in the Sea of Japan, involving more than 20 warships, submarines, and support vessels. The exercise, conducted near Japanese and South Korean waters, sent a strong message about the deepening military cooperation between Beijing and Moscow. These naval encounters are not merely displays of power, but also stages for showcasing advanced technology. Both nations have unveiled cutting-edge systems, including modern radar, hypersonic missiles, and autonomous underwater vehicles. This intensifies the naval arms race and offers opportunities to gather intelligence on adversaries' capabilities. The increased frequency and intensity of naval confrontations have led to significant diplomatic repercussions. Regional nations, particularly U.S. allies like Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines, are growing increasingly concerned about the naval activities of China and Russia. In recent years, U.S. defense cooperation with Pacific allies has grown stronger than ever. Joint exercises and defense agreements reflect the complex power dynamics in the region. But are these efforts sufficient to counter the rising influence of China and Russia? As China and Russia continue to assert their naval presence, the U.S. is compelled to respond to maintain its influence. However, the growing number of maritime confrontations also heightens the risk of strategic miscalculations and escalations into larger conflicts. Notably, recent joint naval drills between China and Russia near Alaska marked a new escalation in their military partnership. Featuring a fleet of 11 warships from both nations, these operations not only highlight their increasing coordination, but also ramp up pressure on the U.S. According to U.S. defense officials and lawmakers, a large group of Russian and Chinese warships approached near the Alaskan coast last week. In response, a group of U.S. destroyers monitored the naval patrol closely. In a statement on August 6th, Republican Senators Lisa Murkowski and Dan Sullivan from Alaska revealed that a total of 11 vessels were detected transiting American waters near the Aleutian Islands. The senators expressed concern about the presence of Russian and Chinese warships near Alaska, describing it as a stark reminder of a new era of aggression from authoritarian regimes. Among the fleet were advanced Chinese destroyers equipped with modern radar and missile systems, alongside Russian frigates renowned for their anti-submarine capabilities. Additionally, support ships from both nations enhanced the fleet's operational endurance. These details underscore meticulous preparation and convey a clear message. The military partnership between China and Russia is entering an entirely new phase. The U.S. response was swift. 4 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers were deployed to the area, including the USS John McCain, USS Benfold, USS John Finn, and USS Chung Hoon. These state-of-the-art warships, equipped with the advanced Aegis combat system, are capable of countering threats from air, sea, and underwater. Coordinating with P-8 Poseidon reconnaissance aircraft, the U.S. destroyers closely monitored the movements of the Chinese and Russian fleet. After careful observation, the opposing warships exited the area without encroaching on U.S. territory. The objective of this deployment is not only to closely monitor the activities of the Sino-Russian fleet, but also to showcase American power, reaffirming its ability to respond swiftly to any scenario. But is this enough to send a strong deterrence message, or is it merely a reactive measure? Share your thoughts below. Beyond naval vessels, the U.S. has also deployed P-8 Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft for continuous surveillance. Equipped with advanced sensors and long-range operational capabilities, these aircraft play a critical role in tracking every move of the Chinese and Russian warships. The combination of naval and aerial power has created a multi-dimensional defense system, highlighting the U.S.'s superior combat capabilities. Nevertheless, challenges remain significant. The vast expanse of the Pacific is so immense that even the U.S. Navy, with its enormous resources, faces limitations in coverage. These gaps present opportunities for adversaries like China and Russia to exploit. From China's perspective, the modernization of its navy over the past 2 decades has been truly remarkable. The People's Liberation Army Navy, PLAN, has experienced exponential growth in both quantity and quality, positioning China as one of the most formidable naval forces in the world. Its advanced aircraft carriers, destroyers, and submarines are increasingly challenging U.S. dominance on the high seas. This rapid transformation has raised a critical question within the international community. Has the balance of naval power truly shifted, or does the U.S. still hold the upper hand? The plan has evolved from a coastal defense force into a blue water navy capable of operating far beyond China's borders. Central to China's naval strategy is the development of anti-access area denial (A2AD) capabilities. Advanced missile systems, both ship-based and land-based, pose a significant threat to U.S. naval operations in the Western Pacific. Additionally, the plan's expansion of its submarine fleet and the launch of its first domestically built aircraft carrier underscore China's ambitions to dominate the seas. Could this be a step toward maritime supremacy? Meanwhile, Russia is witnessing a resurgence of its navy. Although smaller in scale compared to the Soviet era, it remains a formidable force. In July 2024, the Russian Navy mobilized approximately 300 warships, submarines, and support vessels, along with 50 aircraft and 20,000 personnel, for exercises across multiple regions, including the Pacific Ocean, the Arctic Ocean, the Mediterranean Sea, the Caspian Sea, and the Baltic Sea. These exercises featured air defense missile launches, live combat drills, signal jamming maneuvers to evade enemy attacks, and the deployment of anti-submarine weapons. Over the past 2 months, Moscow has conducted a series of drills with mobile nuclear missile launchers and exercises involving non-strategic nuclear weapons. Russia has also intensified military training with Belarus, a nation sharing borders with both Russia and Ukraine. Belarus participated in the second phase of non-strategic nuclear weapons exercises in June. In 2024, the Russian fleet welcomed an impressive array of new ships and weaponry, with over 40 warships of various classes joining the force. This marked a significant step in bolstering its maritime strength. President Vladimir Putin revealed that after adding 24 new warships in 2022 and 33 in 2023, the number in 2025 is set to surpass previous records, promising a substantial boost in combat capabilities. Notably, Russia's nuclear-powered submarines, including ballistic missile submarines, SSBNs, and attack submarines, are the pride of its navy. Furthermore, Russia has heavily invested in advanced cruise missile technology, such as the Kalibr missile system, which provides exceptional long-range strike capabilities. Are you surprised that a nation facing significant economic challenges has achieved such remarkable advancements in its military sector? Looking at these naval capabilities, have you ever wondered how the balance of naval power in the Pacific will shift over the next decade? The US, China, and Russia are on different trajectories, but who will emerge as the leader? In response to the growing presence of Chinese and Russian navies, the US has intensified Freedom of Navigation Operations, FONOPs. These missions aim to assert the right to operate in international waters and challenge excessive maritime claims. In the South China Sea, where China's territorial claims conflict with international law, FONOPs are particularly critical. By conducting these operations regularly, the U.S. Navy not only upholds the principle of freedom of navigation, but also sends a clear message of commitment to its regional allies. Beyond the South China Sea, the Arctic is emerging as a new strategic area of focus for the U.S. As the region gains importance, the U.S. Navy has been increasing its presence, including improving naval infrastructure in Alaska. With melting ice opening new shipping routes and exposing vast natural resources, the question arises, can the U.S. maintain its advantage in a region where Russia has dominated for decades? The Arctic, with its thick ice and harsh conditions, is becoming the next battleground in the global naval race. The U.S. Navy is stepping up regular patrols in the region. But did you know that to operate effectively in polar environments, forces must be equipped with ice-capable warships and undergo specialized training? The U.S. Navy is not only investing in ice-resistant vessels, but is also developing new operational concepts tailored to this unique environment. Challenges in the Arctic stem not only from the climate, but also from geopolitical shifts as nations like Russia and China ramp up their activities in the region. America's Pacific allies cannot remain idle in the face of increasingly bold moves by China and Russia. Japan, with its critical strategic location, has increased patrols and drills by its Maritime Self-Defense Force to address the growing frequency of Chinese and Russian warships near its territorial waters. Australia, another key ally, has reaffirmed its commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific region. Australia's plans to increase defense spending, with a focus on enhancing naval capabilities, highlight its desire to work closely with the U.S. But are these efforts enough to counter the pressure from two emerging maritime powers? However, military power is not the only tool in this high-stakes game. Diplomatic efforts play a crucial role in reducing tensions and preventing unwanted conflicts. The U.S. Department of State has engaged in dialogues with both China and Russia, emphasizing the importance of adhering to international maritime law. Multilateral forums, such as the ASEAN Regional Forum, have become platforms to discuss maritime security issues. These diplomatic channels complement military strength and help maintain regional stability. Looking ahead, technology will be the defining factor in the naval race in the Pacific. Autonomous systems, including surface and underwater unmanned vehicles, are becoming increasingly vital. These technologies not only revolutionize maritime surveillance, but also enhance anti-submarine warfare capabilities and even combat operations. Furthermore, artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning are gradually transforming naval warfare. From improving decision-making processes to increasing the precision of weapons systems, AI is set to reshape how wars at sea are fought. Do you agree that the future of naval warfare will hinge entirely on technology? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. AI technology is unlocking groundbreaking potential for naval forces worldwide. Nations that effectively integrate this technology will gain a decisive edge. The impact of climate change is also reshaping the strategic landscape in the Pacific and the Arctic. As new shipping routes emerge and previously inaccessible resources become available, naval forces are compelled to adjust their strategies and upgrade their capabilities. This rapidly changing environment could intensify competition over resources and territorial sovereignty, leading to more frequent naval encounters. A stronger military presence in previously overlooked areas will become increasingly necessary. While the risk of direct military confrontation remains low, heightened naval activity in the Pacific raises the likelihood of unintended escalation. Incidents such as near collisions between vessels or misinterpretations of routine exercises could easily trigger conflict if not carefully managed. The most sensitive areas include the South China Sea, where territorial disputes involve multiple nations, and the waters surrounding Taiwan, which have seen a significant increase in Chinese naval activity in recent years. The ability of the U.S. Navy to respond swiftly and effectively to potential crises in these areas will be a critical factor in maintaining regional stability. Recently, Admiral Lisa Franchetti, Chief of Naval Operations, announced the Navigation Plan for Combat-Ready Naval Forces with two primary goals: preparing for the possibility of conflict with China before 2027 and enhancing the long-term advantages of the U.S. Navy. This plan includes restoring infrastructure, improving maintenance and training practices, and ensuring that at least 80% of warships, submarines, and aircraft are combat-ready on short notice. Additionally, the U.S. Navy is proposing a 30-year fleet expansion plan, aiming to grow the fleet to between 348 and 381 ships, depending on available resources. However, in 2025, the Navy plans to decommission 19 warships, including some relatively new vessels, to restructure and improve operational efficiency. Notably, in early 2024, the U.S. Navy received its first Orca-class submarine from Boeing and began rigorous testing before deploying it for active duty. The delivery followed a year-long series of quality assurance tests. Boeing is expected to deliver 4 more Orca submarines, with the final one slated for handover by June. The U.S. Navy's efforts are far from over. It has established Combined Task Force 154, CTF 154, to support training and capacity building for partner nations in the Middle East. CTF 154 conducts multinational maritime training focused on maritime domain awareness, maritime law, search and rescue, and security enhancement, all aimed at improving regional maritime security. The coming years are likely to witness a significant increase in naval activity in the Pacific and Arctic, as global powers compete to control these strategically vital regions. How the U.S. and its allies address these challenges will play a key role in shaping global maritime security and balancing power in the 21st century. Do you think emerging technologies such as AI and unmanned systems will revolutionize naval operations in the future? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis video helpful and insightful, don't hesitate to hit the like button to support us. Subscribe to the Navy Power channel and turn on notifications to stay updated with compelling content about the strength of the U.S. Navy. The United States has long established its leadership in the research and development of what are considered the most dangerous and advanced weapons in the world. As a military superpower, the country continuously strives to innovate and improve its equipment and warfare tools in order to maintain a dominant edge over any potential adversaries. The close cooperation between the government and leading global technology corporations has created an incredible synergy, resulting in the development of groundbreaking military products that constantly make waves and attract the attention of the international community. Are you curious about the new innovations and modern weapon technologies the U.S. military is developing? Let's explore 3 top-tier weapons recently introduced by the U.S. military, featuring impressive capabilities and power. First, let's talk about an incredibly powerful weapon, the M230LF automatic gun, one of the latest additions to the U.S. military arsenal, offering a breakthrough in combat effectiveness and flexibility. This is an upgraded version of the M230, the famous gun mounted on the Apache attack helicopter, one of the most formidable weapons on the battlefield. The M230LF stands out due to its redesigned structure, allowing it to be easily mounted on light vehicles or small boats, offering greater flexibility in deploying this weapon in a variety of combat situations. With the ability to operate effectively in the air, on the ground, and at sea, the M230LF marks a significant advancement in the U.S. military's combat capabilities. The gun uses a 30mm caliber, firing standard NATO 30 by 130mm B rounds, including types such as EP, high explosive dual purpose for penetration and damage, HEI high explosive incendiary for incendiary effects, and specialized rounds like the XM-1211 for countering UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles. Weighing approximately 160 pounds, with 2 barrel lengths, 5.4 feet and 5 feet, the M230LF fires at a rate of 200 rounds per minute, with an effective range of 1,640 to 2,190 yards, making it suitable for eliminating infantry, destroying light armored vehicles, and taking out small flying targets. A major upgrade is the conversion of the feed system from a wireless type to a link-fed system, making it compatible with most standard NATO ammunition, such as AIDEN or DEFA. This not only enhances flexibility, but also reduces operational costs. Secondly, the electric motor and control system have been upgraded from a 12-volt AC system to a 24-volt DC system, making it better suited for integration with standard electrical systems on military vehicles. Thirdly, the fire retardant system has been significantly improved, based on the design of the Bushmaster M242 cannon, to enhance operational safety by minimizing the risk of fire spreading into the ammunition chamber or feed system, especially during high-intensity operations or in harsh combat conditions. Finally, the recoil system and gun mount have been improved, providing easy integration into turret systems on combat vehicles, optimizing combat effectiveness in all operational scenarios. Furthermore, the gun mounting system and recoil suppressor of the M230LF have been optimized for easy installation on tank turrets or other armored vehicles, enhancing flexibility and usability in various combat situations. The M230LF cannon has not only been tested on various turret systems, but also attracted attention from many countries worldwide due to its ability to use the versatile M789 ammunition. This ammunition has demonstrated outstanding effectiveness in eliminating material, personnel, and light armor targets, significantly enhancing the weapon system's strength in modern military operations. On October 9, 2024, Northrop Grumman introduced the latest version of the M230LF with a dual-feed ammunition system. This improvement allows operators to quickly switch between 2 types of ammunition, enhancing battlefield flexibility, especially when facing diverse threats. This new version shares about 60% of its components with the current M230LF model, simplifying maintenance and reducing training time for technicians. With a technology readiness level of 6, live fire testing for the dual-feed version is expected to take place in 2025. This cannon is expected to be integrated into various combat platforms, from ground vehicles to UAV defense systems, further solidifying the M230LF's position as a modern, effective firepower solution for future battlefields. Military experts believe that upgrading this artillery piece is a crucial step in enhancing the defense capabilities of the armed forces, enabling military units to respond more effectively to threats from both the air and the ground. Northrop Grumman is also in negotiations with international partners to include the M230LF dual feed in export contracts, aiming to expand the product's global application. A versatile, powerful weapon compatible with various types of ammunition. Could this be the U.S. military's next trump card? What are your thoughts on this development? Feel free to comment and share your views. Next, we will explore an advanced air defense system known as IM-SHORAD, Initial Maneuver Short-Range Air Defense. This represents a significant advancement in protecting combat forces from low-altitude aerial threats, with the ability to respond quickly and effectively in any combat situation. This system was developed through collaboration between General Dynamics Land Systems and Leonardo DRS, aimed at protecting U.S. forces from airborne threats. IM-SHORAD is capable of intercepting and destroying targets such as helicopters, fixed-wing aircraft, cruise missiles, and UAVs, all of which pose significant threats to ground operations. Designed for flexible defense needs, IM-SHORAD can be quickly deployed and effectively operate in dynamic combat environments, particularly in close combat situations. What's unique is that this system not only intercepts airborne targets, but also supports the protection of military forces during large-scale offensive or defensive operations. With the ability to handle multiple tasks in a single system, the question arises, can such a technology truly provide optimal effectiveness on the battlefield? Could IM-SHORAD become a vital weapon in protecting ground forces from aerial threats? Let's dive into this with Navy power. IM-SHORAD is mounted on the Stryker A1 8x8 wheeled armored vehicle chassis, equipped with a 450 horsepower Caterpillar C9 engine and a suspension system capable of handling a 60,000 pounds payload. Its V-shaped double hull provides high survivability against mines and improvised explosive devices, IEDs. The system integrates Leonardo DRS's advanced radar, which uses AESA, Active Electronically Scanned Array, technology along with optical and infrared sensors, EOIR, enabling it to detect and track targets in complex lighting and weather conditions. The Blue Force Tracker, a multi-directional radar system providing target data and identification of friendly or enemy forces, is also integrated into the system. This technology, developed by Israel, has proven its reliability in real-world operations. The weaponized turret system from Moog on the IM-SHORAD not only detects and tracks targets, but also neutralizes threats using both kinetic and non-kinetic weapons. In fact, the M-SHORAD is the Stryker A1 integrated with the ME Mission Equipment Pack. The most notable component of the ME-P is the turret. Moog's Reconfigurable Integrated Weapons Platform, RIWP, on the vehicle includes a 30mm XM914 cannon, a 7.62mm M240 machine gun, and 2 launchers for 2 types of missiles. To engage airborne targets, it uses 4 M92 Stinger missiles and 2 AGM-114 Hellfire missiles from Raytheon. On the right side of the system is the SVUL launcher, equipped with 4 Stinger surface-to-air missiles, ready to target low-flying threats. On the left is the M299 launcher, capable of firing 2 Hellfire-guided missiles, an effective weapon for taking out airborne targets at ranges of up to 4,800 meters, providing versatile and precise strike capabilities for this air defense system. First and foremost, IM-SHORAD identifies and destroys airborne targets such as fighter jets, helicopters, UAVs, and other guided weapons. Depending on the type and range of the target, either artillery or missiles can be used. The maximum kill range with Hellfire missiles is from 6 to 8 kilometers. For shorter distances, the Stinger missile takes over the task. Not only dealing with airborne targets, IM-SHORAD can also target ground enemies with its 30mm cannon and machine guns, ensuring the neutralization of soft targets and light armored vehicles. If encountering stronger and more resilient opponents, the commander will fire Hellfire missiles to eliminate targets in an instant. A highlight of IM-SHORAD is the Avenger launcher, developed by Boeing, designed specifically to carry both the AGM-114 Longbow Hellfire anti-tank missile and the AIM-9X Sidewinder anti-aircraft missile. Target detection and tracking are performed using the Multi-Mission Hemispheric Radar, MHR, from Rada Electronic Industries, Israel, which consists of 4 active phased array radars placed at the vehicle's corners. These radars can detect large airborne targets at ranges of at least 20 to 25 kilometers and detect nano-UAVs from 5 kilometers away. The MXGCS electro-optical system on the RIWP turret is used to control the weapons and guide the missiles. Inside the combat vehicle are the control units for observation and weapon management. The system's secondary weapons include the XM914 Bushmaster 30mm cannon and the M240 7.62mm machine gun, enhancing its ability to engage light targets, providing flexibility and offensive power in a variety of combat situations. The combination of the powerful firepower and high mobility of both the M230LF and IM SHORAD has created strategic weapons that have become key assets on the modern battlefield, capable of handling a wide range of threats from both the air and the ground. The introduction of air defense system is seen as a tactical weapon capable of addressing a wide range of combat tasks. As of 2024, the IM SHORAD system has reached significant milestones in deployment and development. In February 2024, the U.S. Army deployed 4 IM SHORAD prototypes equipped with a 50 kilowatts laser onto Stryker vehicles to the Middle East for performance testing against airborne threats. Initial feedback from soldiers was described as not very impressive. In June 2024, the U.S. Army renamed the IRAD system to SGT Stout in honor of Sergeant Mitchell Stout, an air defense soldier and Medal of Honor recipient who died in combat in Vietnam. Looking ahead, the U.S. Army plans to continue deploying and testing IM SHORAD prototypes equipped with lasers, evaluating the laser technology's effectiveness against airborne threats. While initial soldier feedback was not overly positive, continued testing and improvement of laser technology may lead to future enhancements. Additionally, the U.S. Army is considering integrating IM SHORAD with new technologies, including interactions with robots and UAVs, as well as developing new intercept platforms to enhance short-range air defense capabilities. In the future, IM SHORAD could be further enhanced with a 50-kilowatt laser weapon. This could represent a revolutionary shift in tactical air defense weapons. Laser weapons offer several advantages over traditional ones. With light-speed targeting, laser weapons can destroy targets almost instantly. However, integrating laser weapon systems requires a large power source, and the Stryker vehicle's chassis may struggle to meet these power needs. U.S. developers will need more time to perfect laser weapon technology that is small enough to be mounted on tactical combat platforms like the Stryker vehicle. Overall, IM SHORAD continues to play a critical role in the U.S. Army's short-range air defense strategy, with expansion and upgrades planned for the years to come to address increasingly diverse airborne threats. What do you think of these cutting-edge technologies? Will they help the U.S. maintain its battlefield superiority? Share your thoughts by commenting below the video. Next, let's explore a military legend that has been present since the post-World War II era, but still maintains its iconic status and is a symbol of power in the armed forces of many nations, the M61 Vulcan rotary cannon. This is not just a weapon, but a symbol of technology and military strength over many decades. Have you ever wondered how a weapon can endure for so long and still continue to play a crucial role on the battlefield? Let's dive into the secrets behind the success and power of this cannon, from its design technology to its practical applications in warfare. You definitely don't want to miss the fascinating details about this legendary weapon. The M61 is a 6-barrel Gatling cannon mounted on U.S. Air Force fighter jets, and it is highly effective in aerial dogfights between combat aircraft. The Gatling gun requires an external force to rotate the barrels continuously. The new generation of jet engines promises to provide enough electrical power to operate the gun and ensure reliability for this gas-operated weapon. Although each barrel has a lower rate of fire compared to single-barrel cannons, the total rate of fire from multiple barrels is significantly higher. By the end of World War II, with the development of jet engines, aircraft achieved unprecedented speeds, making it extremely difficult to hit targets. The US military sought a weapon with a high rate of fire that was also reliable. To solve this problem, General Electric, GE, in the US, revived the multi-barrel gun concept by Richard Jordan Gatling. Because of this, the US military developed the M61 Vulcan, a rotary cannon that uses 20 by 102 mm rounds and operates with a powerful hydraulic system. This cannon has become a symbol of air defense strength, providing continuous and accurate offensive capabilities against airborne targets. Originally, the M61 Vulcan was designed with a linked ammunition belt, but to increase flexibility and effectiveness in combat, the cannon was quickly upgraded to allow the use of other ammunition feeding systems, optimizing its performance in various combat conditions. The gun uses pneumatic power to load and fire the rounds, eliminating the need for continuous power source changes during firing. The rotary feed system, or the M61's drum magazine, ensures continuous and stable ammunition feeding, allowing the gun to operate efficiently in long battles without interruption. The gun has a length of 1.88 meters and weighs 112 kilograms. Each barrel fires once during each rotation of the barrel cluster. With an effective firing range of about 600 meters, the M61's remarkable feature lies in the rotating mechanism of its barrel cluster. This design allows it to achieve an astonishing rate of fire, 100 rounds per second, or 6,000 rounds per minute. Through testing, the Vulcan was able to fire over 10,000 rounds before experiencing a jam or malfunction, making it incredibly reliable in the eyes of military officials and US pilots. Do you think a weapon with such speed and accuracy could change the course of aerial combat? If so, comment 1 below the video. Most versions of the M61 mounted on fighter jets use external power sources, hydraulic systems, and electrical systems. The rotor and loading mechanisms are powered by a hydraulic engine via flexible shaft bearings. The rounds are fired by an electric motor. With each time the current flows, the firing pin strikes the primer to launch the projectile. Once the current stops, the firing pin returns to its original position. The original M61 cannons used linked ammunition belts, rounds connected by a belt, but this often caused malfunctions, so it was later replaced by the M61A1 with a non-linked feed system. Depending on its purpose, the M61's loading system can either eject empty or damaged shells, single end, or push them back into the ammunition box after firing, double end. Another drawback is that the loading system must be specially designed for each use, and it weighs approximately 140 to 180 kilograms depending on the type. Most aircraft use the double-end system because ejecting empty shells could be dangerous for friendly forces, especially jet aircraft, and retaining the empty shells helps maintain the aircraft's center of gravity. Additionally, the M61's incredible firing rate brings up a major issue. The aircraft carrying the Vulcan can only hold a limited amount of ammunition. To address this, General Electric, its original manufacturer, developed a burst control system, allowing for short bursts to save ammunition while maintaining optimal firepower. Although the development of the M61 began in the 1940s, the cannon didn't see combat until 1965, during the Vietnam War. The M61 Vulcan has been mounted on many famous fighter jets, such as the F-4 Phantom II, F-14 Tomcat, F-15 Eagle, F-16 Fighting Falcon, F-A-18 Hornet, and A-10 Thunderbolt II. The gun can fire accurately at ranges between 1,000 and 2,000 meters, creating a dense and effective shield against threats like enemy aircraft, missiles, or other fast-moving targets. In addition to explosive, armor-piercing, and incendiary rounds, the M61 can also use rounds designed for target detonation, depending on the objective and combat requirements. The M61 Vulcan is not only a powerful offensive tool, but also an effective defense system in aerial combat, protecting aircraft from threats posed by enemy targets. The popularity of the M61 continues even today. After General Electric sold its weapon manufacturing division to Martin Marietta, now part of Lockheed Martin, and later General Dynamics took over, the Vulcan is still used on U.S. and Allied combat platforms. As of 2024, the M61 Vulcan remains a key weapon in the U.S. Air Force and Navy, mounted on modern fighter jets like the F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II, as well as on the Phalanx CIGS close-in weapon system on warships. With a rate of fire of up to 6,000 to 7,200 rounds per minute, the M61 Vulcan continues to prove effective in protecting aircraft from threats such as enemy aircraft and missiles, thanks to its ability to attack quickly and accurately. However, while the M61 retains its importance, the U.S. military and its allies are developing and testing more advanced weapon systems, such as larger caliber Gatling guns like the 12U-25mm, and new technologies like laser or electromagnetic weapons to enhance strike capabilities and reduce ammunition waste. Between 2025 and 2030, the development plan for the M61 Vulcan will focus on maintaining and improving its efficiency while reassessing its role in the context of new weapon technologies being deployed. Upgraded versions of the M61 may be developed to optimize its defense capabilities and integrate with advanced automated weapon systems. However, in the long-term future, 2030 and beyond, the M61 Vulcan may gradually be replaced by new technologies such as lasers and electromagnetic weapons, which would enhance combat efficiency and minimize reliance on ammunition. Nonetheless, due to its critical role in current defense operations, the M61 Vulcan may still be maintained and upgraded for tasks requiring high firing rates and effectiveness against large targets such as aircraft and missiles. What do you think about the M61 Vulcan cannon? Its combination of speed and accuracy has made it an indispensable tool in modern military campaigns, from aerial combat to ground defense. Could this be one of the best weapons ever created? With its outstanding power and longevity across decades, the M61 Vulcan certainly deserves its legendary status in military history. Think about structures buried deep within mountains, protected by thick reinforced concrete, and surrounded by the most advanced air defense systems. Iran's underground bases are not only designed to withstand airstrikes and conventional weapons, but they are also built to endure the passage of time. However, despite this solid protection, the U.S. military possesses state-of-the-art weaponry and superior tactics capable of penetrating any defense layer and eliminating these critical targets. In today's video, the Navy Power Channel will take you on a journey to explore how the U.S. could destroy Iran's underground missile bases and nuclear facilities, step by step. This is not just a hypothetical scenario. It offers an in-depth look at how modern warfare has evolved to address the greatest threats. And don't miss the conclusion, where we'll explore not only traditional tactics, but also ultra-modern and controversial weapons that could change the course of the battle. This is a story of creativity, precision, and possibly unimaginable devastation. Get ready and join us in discovering more. Despite possessing formidable defense systems, the U.S. still has access to a modern arsenal and superior tactics capable of penetrating these defense layers and eliminating critical targets. Today, we will break down step by step how the U.S. could neutralize Iran's underground missile bases and nuclear facilities. When talking about Iran's underground bases, their sophistication must be acknowledged. Take the Fordow nuclear facility as an example, a structure built under 260 feet of rock, far beyond the reach of most conventional bombs. Iran has invested billions of dollars to reinforce these underground bunkers, turning them into impregnable fortresses against airstrikes or conventional weapons. These facilities house Shahab and Sejil ballistic missiles, capable of striking U.S. or Allied bases like Israel if provoked. But here's what's important to note. No matter how fortified these structures are, the US military possesses the technology and tactics to defeat them. This is not just about dropping bombs. It's a combination of intelligence, cyber warfare, stealth, and overwhelming destructive power. By following the Navy Power Channel, you will gain a deeper understanding of how the world's leading military forces carry out step-by-step strategies to tackle the greatest challenges. Before a bomb is dropped, the US must pinpoint the exact locations of these underground facilities. This is no easy task, as Iran uses camouflage systems and mobile missile launchers. Surveillance tools, such as the KH-11 satellites and the RQ-4 Global Hawk reconnaissance aircraft, help the US gather detailed data, including entrances, infrastructure, and Iran's communication systems. These devices can provide detailed maps of the missile and underground facilities that Iran has carefully concealed. To carry out precise attacks, the US must have detailed information about Iran's underground facilities, including bunkers and missile sites. One important tool in gathering this information is the RQ-4 Global Hawk reconnaissance aircraft, an unmanned aerial vehicle capable of flying at high altitudes for extended periods, collecting strategic data. The RQ-4 Global Hawk is equipped with advanced sensors such as synthetic aperture radar (SAR), optical and infrared equipment, allowing it to detect underground targets that satellites may struggle to identify. Through clear signals and imagery, it helps pinpoint Iran's underground facilities with high accuracy. The US can also deploy UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, to fly through airspace and capture images or videos of potential targets, providing real-time analysis of the situation. UAVs like the MQ-9 Reaper can be fitted with optical and infrared sensors, enabling them to monitor all activities while providing instant information on the movements of underground facilities and structural changes. In addition, the US can deploy ground sensor systems or underground monitoring equipment to detect unusual changes in the environment surrounding underground facilities, thereby accurately identifying the positions and structures of underground bunkers. But just having information isn't enough. If the target is buried deep beneath layers of rock and concrete, it requires a level of destructive power like never before. And this is where things get interesting. What do you think the first step to neutralizing Iran's underground facilities would be? It's not airstrikes, it's cyber warfare. Once the target's location is identified, the US could deploy cyber attacks to disable Iran's command and control systems. Drawing inspiration from the success of the Stuxnet virus, which crippled Iran's nuclear centrifuges in 2010, cyber attacks could disrupt Iran's air defense systems, rendering them ineffective. This would reduce Iran's ability to respond to physical attacks that would follow. Before a bomb even drops, Iran could be pushed into complete paralysis, unable to communicate or defend itself. In addition to disabling systems, cyber attacks could also infiltrate Iran's missile control equipment and software, rendering them useless in protecting critical facilities. The US could also target Iran's communication networks, including military and civilian systems, making it difficult or impossible to mobilize defensive forces. A new generation of cyber attacks could incapacitate radar systems, preventing them from detecting subsequent attacks from stealth aircraft or cruise missiles. Furthermore, cutting off Iran's interforce communications would disrupt coordination between the armed forces and combat units. After weakening Iran's defense systems with cyber warfare, the US would need to gain air superiority. After Iran's air defense systems are compromised by cyber attacks, the US would launch a suppression of enemy air defenses (SE-8) operation to destroy surface-to-air missile (SAM) systems and radar. The CAD operation would use a variety of precision weapons, including electronic warfare aircraft, radar homing missiles, and additional cyber attacks to disable enemy command and control equipment. Electronic warfare aircraft like the EA-18G Growler would emit powerful jamming signals to incapacitate radar systems and disrupt target detection and tracking. At the same time, radar homing missiles could precisely strike radar stations and command systems, reducing the enemy's ability to react to air defense threats. Once the SAM systems and radars are disabled, U.S. or allied air forces would be able to operate more freely, conducting airstrikes on strategic targets without facing significant threats from Iran's air defense systems. SEAD would also weaken Iran's ability to protect critical military facilities, paving the way for deeper strikes on underground targets or other strategic facilities, rapidly altering the course of the air war. Stealth fighters like the F-22 Raptors and F-35 Lightning II would enable the U.S. to penetrate deep into Iranian territory without being detected. Tomahawk cruise missiles would be launched from warships to target Iran's air defense infrastructure, minimizing the risk of counterattacks from their air force. Notably, the U.S. could also deploy hypersonic AGM-183A ARW missiles, which travel at speeds exceeding Mach 5. At these speeds, Iran's air defense systems would have virtually no time to react before the missile strikes its target. In this campaign, the U.S. could also deploy electronic warfare aircraft like the EA-18 Growler to jam radar and electronic signals, complicating Iran's air defense systems. These aircraft would emit strong jamming signals, disrupting Iran's radar systems and detection devices, while blocking radio signals from air defense systems, creating a protective shield for attacking aircraft. Additionally, radar homing missiles like the HARM, high-speed anti-radiation missile, could be used to disable Iran's air defense radars, weakening their detection and strike capabilities. With the ability to locate and target radar signals emitted from enemy air defense systems, HARM can disrupt the operation of these radars, rendering them blind to incoming attacks. HARM is fast and highly accurate, ensuring that enemy radars will be destroyed before they can respond in time. This creates a significant strategic advantage for air forces, as it greatly reduces the enemy's defenses in airborne attacks. Finally, the part you've been waiting for: the actual destruction of Iran's underground bunkers. The U.S. possesses specialized bombs known as bunker busters, specifically for this mission. One such weapon is the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, MOP, a 30,000-pound bomb capable of penetrating 60 meters of concrete before exploding, perfect for facilities like Fordow. To deploy this weapon, the U.S. would use the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, capable of flying deep into enemy airspace undetected. Additionally, the GBU-28, a 5,000-pound penetrating bomb tested in numerous conflicts, would also be used to destroy medium-depth bunkers and missile silos. And if you think that's all, wait until the GBU-72 Advanced 5K Penetrator, a next-generation bomb with extreme precision, designed to tackle heavily reinforced underground targets. Equipped with advanced guidance technology, the GBU-72 can strike targets from afar with near-perfect accuracy, ensuring that fortified underground structures are destroyed instantly. This bomb can penetrate hard concrete layers and even reinforce steel, thanks to its specially designed warhead and bomb casing structure. The GBU-72 weighs about 5,000 pounds, 2,268 kilograms, and uses a GPS-guided system combined with radar, enhancing its accuracy in targeting strategic sites. This is a powerful tool capable of piercing hardened protection layers like concrete, steel, or reinforced materials in underground facilities. This makes the GBU-72 one of the most powerful weapons currently available for destroying underground facilities, such as weapons storage bunkers or missile silos. Not only powerful in penetration, the GBU-72 also provides high accuracy thanks to its GPS guidance system and radar, allowing it to strike directly at strategic targets. This minimizes failures in attack campaigns while optimizing the effectiveness of destroying underground targets without causing significant damage to surrounding facilities. With this kind of power, no fortress is solid enough to withstand it. Underground bunkers, even those constructed with thick concrete and reinforced steel, cannot withstand the destructive force of the GBU-72. The bomb's penetration capability has been tested in previous wars, proving it to be an indispensable weapon in attacking high-protection underground targets. This combination ensures that airstrikes will be precise and effective, leaving no chance for Iran's underground targets to recover or retaliate. From your perspective, is this strategy the right move? Leave your thoughts, and let's analyze the overwhelming power of the US military right below. One of the most powerful conventional weapons is the thermobaric bomb. This bomb works by releasing a cloud of fuel, which then detonates, creating an enormous explosion with extremely high temperatures. This process generates a powerful shockwave capable of destroying reinforced structures and killing personnel within the blast radius. The shockwave from a thermobaric bomb is particularly effective in collapsing tunnels, underground bunkers, and other subterranean targets where conventional weapons may have little impact. Thermobaric bombs can cause widespread devastation, making them ideal for attacking difficult-to-reach or well-protected areas. A prime example of this is the MOAB, Massive Ordnance Air Blast, also known as the mother of all bombs. The MOAB is one of the most powerful conventional weapons, weighing 9.5 tons and possessing immense destructive power. When detonated, it creates a massive fuel cloud and a high-temperature explosion that can reach thousands of degrees Celsius, completely destroying surface structures such as missile bases, weapon depots, and defensive installations. The power of the MOAB not only collapses structures, but also causes significant damage to electronic systems and infrastructure, weakening the enemy's operational capabilities. The MOAB can destroy soldiers, equipment, and combat vehicles over a wide area, making it an effective weapon in strategic operations. Besides destroying surface targets, the MOAB can also weaken defense systems, creating opportunities for deeper attacks into underground bases or other strategic targets. Thanks to its tremendous destructive power, the MOAB can shift the course of a war and provide a decisive advantage for the attacking forces. Some argue that the MOAB is the most powerful conventional bomb in the world. Do you agree with this assessment? If so, leave a comment and share your opinion now. In extreme situations, the US might even consider using a bunker-busting nuclear bomb, such as the B-6112. This bomb can penetrate thick earth and concrete, then produce a nuclear explosion to destroy targets deep underground. The B-61-12 is an upgraded version of the B-61 bomb, designed with a flexible yield ranging from 0.3 kilotons to 50 kilotons of TNT, allowing for adjustable explosion levels depending on tactical requirements. With this capability, the B-6112 can target strategic sites like underground bases or nuclear facilities where conventional weapons cannot reach. The B-6112 weighs approximately 320 kilograms, lighter than other strategic nuclear bombs, making it easier to transport and deploy on modern fighter jets like the F-35 and B-2 Spirit. What's unique about the B-6112 is its precision guidance system, which minimizes collateral damage to civilian areas or infrastructure while maximizing effectiveness in destroying strategic targets. However, the use of nuclear bombs would lead to unpredictable consequences, not only environmentally, but also politically, as it would provoke a strong reaction from the international community. Many nations would oppose the use of nuclear weapons in a regional conflict, as it could escalate into a global nuclear war. Even a nuclear attack could lead to economic or military sanctions, threatening global security. Therefore, nuclear bombs are only considered as a last resort. Iran's mobile missile launchers play a crucial role in their defense strategy, but the US is prepared to counter them. Armed drones like the MQ-9 Reaper can track and destroy these launchers in real time using Hellfire missiles. The MQ-9 Reaper, equipped with advanced sensors and the ability to maintain long-duration surveillance, can monitor moving targets from great distances. With a flight range of up to 1,850 kilometers and continuous operation for many hours, the Reaper can track and pinpoint missile launchers or other strategic targets even when they change positions on the battlefield. Hellfire missiles, designed to strike hardened targets like missile launchers, military vehicles, or underground facilities, possess extremely powerful explosive capabilities. These missiles can be equipped with HEAT, high-explosive anti-tank, or HEAP, high-explosive penetrator warheads, enabling them to destroy targets with reinforced concrete or thick metal surfaces. With a range of up to 8 kilometers, Hellfire missiles allow drones like the MQ-9 Reaper to strike without needing to get close, thus minimizing the risk of being targeted by enemy air defenses. One of the key strengths of the Hellfire missile is its superior accuracy. Using laser or radar guidance, the missile can lock onto targets and maintain precision throughout its flight path, ensuring minimal deviation in target destruction. This is especially critical when targeting mobile or densely populated areas, as minimizing unintended collateral damage is a vital factor in modern warfare. Combined with the speed and destructive power of hypersonic weapons, such as high-speed or hypersonic missiles, attacking mobile launchers becomes even more challenging for adversaries. Hypersonic weapons can exceed Mach 5, 5 times the speed of sound, making targets almost impossible to react to before being struck. These weapons can penetrate any layer of defense, even if the launchers are moving or attempting to hide. With the continuous surveillance capability, high accuracy of Hellfire, and the power of hypersonic weapons, even mobile launchers are unlikely to evade detection and destruction in a short time. Special Forces units, such as Delta Force and Navy SEALs, can also play a critical role in military operations due to their ability to carry out complex and daring missions. These units can infiltrate deep into enemy territory, sabotage command centers, and even penetrate underground facilities to plant explosives, disrupting enemy operations and eliminating strategic targets. Their ability to operate independently in dangerous and delicate environments makes Special Forces powerful tools in modern warfare. Special Forces can coordinate closely with Air Forces to carry out precision strikes in real time. Using high-tech equipment and intelligence gathered from internal sources in Iran, Special Forces can provide crucial data on the location and movement of targets. This allows Air Forces to conduct attacks with high accuracy while minimizing collateral damage to surrounding areas. In addition to sabotage and attack missions, Special Forces can also guide airstrikes. By using laser or GPS guidance systems, they ensure that precision weapons reach their targets without deviation. This enhances effectiveness and reduces risks for attacking forces, especially when facing hard-to-reach targets or strong defensive systems. Another important role of Special Forces is to carry out disruption missions and reduce the enemy's ability to respond. By diverting attention, sabotaging supply lines, disrupting communications, or launching surprise attacks on key areas, they weaken the enemy's resistance capabilities. This not only creates chaos, but also facilitates subsequent attacks from air forces and naval vessels, undermining the enemy's combat readiness and breaking their strategy. We've discussed how the US could theoretically destroy Iran's underground facilities, but what happens next after these strikes? Iran is unlikely to stand still. Retaliation could come swiftly and forcefully, possibly in the form of missile attacks on US military bases in the Middle East or strikes against US allies like Israel and Saudi Arabia. Another concerning move is that Iran could block the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most crucial oil shipping lanes, disrupting supply chains and causing significant economic shockwaves globally. The risk of escalation into a full-scale regional war is very real, and any military campaign will have to weigh these potential benefits against the unpredictable risks. Could the US destroy Iran's underground missile bases and nuclear storage facilities? The answer is yes, but it's far from simple. This campaign would require a perfect combination of stealth tactics, cyber warfare, intelligence gathering, and precision-guided weaponry. It would be a massive challenge, not only militarily, but also politically and strategically on a global scale. No one can deny the incredible safety of the Marine One helicopter. Over the past decade, there have been more than 47 enemy attempts to attack this helicopter, all ending in catastrophic failure. With a price tag of $80 million, this is not just a helicopter but truly a flying fortress. Equipped with missile jamming systems, decoy flares, bulletproof windows, and the ability to coordinate nuclear responses even while flying through a storm, Marine One seems almost invincible. But can it withstand an electromagnetic pulse EMP attack? And why does the Pentagon keep the helicopter's radar stealth mode a secret? Let's explore every aspect of this legendary Iron Bird. Few people know that the glorious history of the U.S. presidential helicopter fleet originates from the era of atomic bombs. In 1946, during an observation of nuclear testing at Bikini Atoll, General Roy Geiger realized that traditional ship-based landings had become extremely dangerous in the nuclear age. Concentrating troops, ships, and equipment on a beach made them perfect targets for nuclear weapons. This realization led to the creation of the Marine Helicopter Squadron 1, HMX-1, on December 1, 1947, under the command of Colonel Edward C. Dyer. This unit was based at Quantico Airfield in Virginia, a strategic location near Sikorsky and Piasecki helicopter plants in Connecticut, as well as Marine Corps officer training schools. HMX-1 began with two helicopter models, the compact Sikorsky HO-3S-1 and the Piasecki HRP-1 Flying Banana, known for its unique curved design. However, these helicopters were very primitive by modern standards. They had no cabin heating and could only carry 3 soldiers at a time. But in May 1947, HMX-1 conducted a pivotal test when 5 helicopters took off from the USS Palau aircraft carrier, transporting 66 Marines to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Despite requiring multiple trips due to limited capacity, this test proved that helicopters were the future of military mobility. In 1948, the Marine Corps published its first guide on helicopter operations, titled Amphibious Operations: Employment of Helicopters, emphasizing the concept of vertical envelopment, a unique tactic of the Corps. The Korean War in 1950 became the ultimate test for HMX-1. During the Battle of the Pusan Perimeter, 4 of the unit's helicopters provided crucial support by observing the battlefield, coordinating troop movements, evacuating the wounded, and rescuing downed pilots. In the Chosin Reservoir campaign, HMX-1 helicopters played a critical role in maintaining communication between Marine Corps units. This success not only earned the unit widespread trust, but also paved the way for training a new generation of helicopter pilots, leading to the establishment of HMR-161, the Marine Corps' first helicopter transport squadron. On September 7, 1957, HMX-1 marked a significant turning point when it was tasked with transporting President Dwight D. Eisenhower from Newport, Rhode Island, to Washington during the Little Rock crisis. Using traditional means of transportation, the journey back to the capital would have taken over 2 hours. But with a helicopter, the president was able to respond to the crisis swiftly. In a moment of urgency, when an emergency arose, an HMX-1 UH-34 helicopter was ready on Aquidneck Island to respond. Colonel Virgil D. Olson, a legendary figure in the history of Marine One, received an emergency call. Within minutes, he and his crew arrived at the Naval War College, where President Dwight D. Eisenhower was located. The 6-minute flight across Narragansett Bay to Air Force One was not just a routine mission. It forever changed how U.S. presidents travel. Shortly after helicopters became a mode of presidential transportation, presidential aides suggested that the U.S. Marine Corps establish a helipad on the south lawn of the White House grounds. In May 2014, the U.S. Navy signed a $1.24 billion contract with Sikorsky Aircraft to produce 6 presidential helicopters. Sikorsky announced that the new presidential helicopters would be based on the S-92 model. A fleet of 21 new presidential helicopters was expected to be completed by 2023. In 2002, the U.S. Department of Defense launched the VXX program to develop new VIP presidential helicopters. However, the VH-71 helicopter project was cancelled in 2009 after facing significant controversy over its high costs. Colonel Olson not only conducted the first presidential helicopter flight, but also revolutionized the entire operation. He introduced several innovations, including the signature white paint scheme, which earned Marine One helicopters the nickname White Top. When the White House gardener complained about rotor wash damaging the landscaping, Olson designed the iconic white landing circle that Marine One still uses today. From the first VH-34 Choctaw in 1957 to the VH-3A Sea King in 1962, and later the VH-3D Sea King in the late 1970s, with significant improvements in safety and comfort, Marine One has always been at the forefront of blending technology and performance. By 1987, the VH-60N White Hawk joined the fleet, bringing superior agility and performance, particularly for international missions. Few people know that until 1976, the U.S. Army shared the responsibility of transporting the President with the Marine Corps, using the call sign Army One. However, thanks to the outstanding performance of the HMX-1 team, President Gerald Ford entrusted the Marine Corps with sole responsibility for presidential transport, a significant milestone in the history of the presidential helicopter fleet. One of the most memorable moments occurred on July 16, 2009, when Major Jennifer Greaves led the first all-female Marine One crew in history. This groundbreaking flight not only marked the progress of HMX-1, but also served as a reminder that the team, once entirely male, has overcome many barriers to achieve the diversity and professionalism it boasts today. Marine One has witnessed countless historic moments, from evacuating President Richard Nixon after his resignation, to transporting presidents to secret bunkers during national emergencies, or simply helping Ronald Reagan bypass Washington traffic to visit his wife, Nancy, in the hospital. Over 800 personnel support the operations of the Marine One Squadron, headquartered at MCAF Quantico, Virginia, with an additional operational site at the Naval Support Facility Anacostia in Washington, D.C. However, Marine One is most often seen on the south lawn of the White House or at Andrews Air Force Base in Maryland. At Andrews, Marine One sometimes connects with Air Force One for long-distance trips. Marine One stands 16.7 feet tall and is 79 feet long. It can reach speeds of over 150 miles per hour and is capable of flying even if one of its 3 engines fails. The helicopter is armored and equipped with missile defense systems and early missile warning technology. Today, Marine One is not just a mode of transportation, but a technological marvel. Its advanced communication systems allow the President to govern the country while in the air. Defensive countermeasures can neutralize incoming missiles, while the cabin is designed to provide the comfort and operational efficiency of the Oval Office. With the introduction of the VH-92A Patriot in 2024, Marine One once again solidifies its position as a pioneer. Featuring greater range, faster speeds, and enhanced security features, these helicopters ensure the President can respond to emergencies anywhere in the world. However, not all modernization efforts have been smooth. The VH-71 Kestrel project, launched in 2005 to replace aging aircraft, faced significant challenges. With an initial budget of $6.1 billion for 28 helicopters, costs ballooned to $13 billion, making each helicopter more expensive than Air Force One. Ultimately, the project was canceled in 2009, forcing the Marine Corps to continue using the older fleet. During this challenging period, engineers displayed extraordinary creativity. They collaborated with museums, showcasing presidential helicopters to source replacement parts that were no longer manufactured, and even pioneered the use of 3D printing technology to produce components. This is a testament to the innovation and unwavering spirit of Marine One. The failure of the VH-71 program was not only an expensive lesson, but also led to a complete overhaul in how the U.S. military approached the development of presidential helicopters. Instead of attempting to create an entirely new design, they chose to modify a proven commercial aircraft. The result was the Sikorsky S-92, upgraded into the VH-92A Patriot, a helicopter that is redefining the modern approach to Marine One. Unlike its predecessor program, the VH-92A is based on a commercially successful and stable platform. This allowed developers to focus on mission-specific enhancements for the President, rather than resolving challenges in basic design. The contract was awarded in 2014, with plans to produce 21 helicopters at a significantly lower cost than the VH-71. The VH-92A is not only larger, with a cabin 30% more spacious than previous generations, but also offers superior flexibility. The expanded cabin accommodates additional security personnel and equipment, while its advanced fly-by-wire control system enables easier operation in extreme conditions. Notably, the modular design of the VH-92A allows for easy upgrades over time, ensuring it remains ready to address emerging threats. Have you ever wondered how these helicopters are tested before carrying the President? Each VH-92A undergoes rigorous testing, including landing in artificial sandstorms, flying through simulated electromagnetic pulses, and even withstanding mock lightning strikes. Another fascinating requirement is ensuring the ability to land on the White House lawn without damaging the historic garden, a standard that has existed since the time of Colonel Virgil Olson. In August 2024, the VH-92A completed its first flight serving the President, ushering in a new era for Marine One. The modernization of the fleet is expected to be completed by 2025, fully replacing the VH-3D and VH-60N helicopters that have faithfully served for decades. However, these new helicopters are not just modes of transportation. They are designed as mobile command centers, capable of responding to cyber attacks, electronic warfare, and any other threats in an increasingly complex world. Do you know what makes Marine One so special in presidential protection missions? It's the tactic known as the presidential shell game. When Marine One takes off, there are always 3 to 5 identical helicopters flying in formation, constantly switching positions to confuse potential threats. Even advanced surveillance systems struggle to identify which helicopter is carrying the President. Marine One stands out not only for its technology, but also for its team of over 800 elite Marines. All members must hold Yankee White clearance, a highly stringent security certification. Even suspicious behavior from distant relatives could disqualify a candidate. Every Marine must pass rigorous background checks, periodic polygraph tests, and continuous security monitoring. The squadron operates from 3 primary facilities: Marine Corps Air Facility Quantico, Headquarters, Joint Base Anacostia Bolling in Washington, D.C., and Joint Base Andrews in Maryland. Notably, each facility is equipped with reinforced bunkers, independent power supplies, and the capability to remain operational even during major emergencies. The defensive capabilities of Marine One are largely classified. However, some details have been revealed. Advanced electronic warfare systems can jam enemy radar and missile guidance systems. Special infrared countermeasures can neutralize heat-seeking missiles, while chaff systems release metal fragments to divert radar-guided missiles. Even the maintenance procedures are kept highly confidential. Every component installed on Marine One must have a clear provenance record from its point of manufacture to its installation. Even the fuel undergoes rigorous inspection before each flight, a protocol implemented after a contaminated fuel incident in the 1970s nearly caused an emergency for the presidential helicopter. Are these remarkable advancements enough to keep Marine One ahead of all future threats? What are your thoughts on the role of Marine One in protecting the President and the nation? Share your opinions with Navy Power. When the President travels, Marine One is often transported aboard massive cargo planes like the C-17 Globemaster III or the C-5 Galaxy. The C-17 Globemaster III is one of the U.S. Air Force's primary military transport aircraft. Manufactured by McDonnell Douglas, now part of Boeing, and delivered to the Air Force in the early 1990s, the C-17 quickly became a cornerstone of the Air Force's strategic airlift capabilities. The primary mission of the C-17 is to transport troops, cargo, and military equipment in support of operations and U.S. bases worldwide. The Globemaster III can carry 85 tons of cargo, 102 paratroopers, up to 134 soldiers, or a combination of 36 patients and 54 emergency patients. Additionally, the C-17 can transport one M1 Abrams main battle tank, 3 Stryker armored vehicles, 6 M117 light armored vehicles, 2 helicopters, and various other military equipment. Thanks to its impressive transport capacity, the C-17 is an ideal workhorse for supporting U.S. presidential trips. It carries vehicles, support equipment, and security assets to locations where the president is scheduled to visit. The transportation process typically begins about 10 days before the visit. The C-17 also transports the armored limousine, famously known as the Beast, to accommodate the president's travel needs during official visits. At every destination, 2 identical The Beast vehicles are deployed, with one serving as a decoy. Additionally, the C-17 carries armored Chevrolet Suburban SUVs used by U.S. Secret Service agents to escort the president's motorcade. Depending on the nature of the visit, the number of security vehicles for the president can range from 20 to 30. The C-17 is 174 feet long, with a wingspan of 169 feet and a height of 52 feet. It has an empty weight of 282,000 pounds, a cargo capacity of 170,900 pounds, and a maximum takeoff weight of 586,000 pounds. It requires a minimum runway length of 7,500 feet for takeoff. To lift this massive machine into the sky, the C-17 relies on 4 Pratt & Whitney PW2000 jet engines, each providing 40,440 pounds of thrust. The aircraft cruises at a speed of 514 miles per hour, with an operational range of 2,785 miles on internal fuel. When refueled in flight, its range extends to 6,200 miles. According to Boeing, the U.S. Air Force operates approximately 223 C-17 aircraft across 12 bases, both domestically and internationally. Alongside the C-130 and the heavy-lift C-5M Galaxy, the C-17 ensures the Air Force's ability to maintain strategic airlift capabilities under any global circumstances. These aircraft not only transport helicopters, but also carry spare parts, maintenance equipment, and technical support teams. This process is always conducted in tightly secured hangars to prevent any outside scrutiny. Did you know that Marine One utilizes an automated weather monitoring network around Washington, D.C.? This system provides real-time weather data to ensure safe landings in densely populated urban areas, such as the White House. Additionally, the helicopter maintains continuous connectivity with both military and civilian networks, ensuring the president remains in control during emergencies. Marine One is not only a technological marvel, but also a testament to the unwavering dedication of the United States Marine Corps. Since its inception, no helicopter in the Marine One fleet has ever experienced an accident or been successfully attacked. Another fascinating fact is that Marine One crews regularly train in high-security facilities, simulating scenarios such as mechanical failures or electromagnetic pulse attacks. With the rapid pace of technological advancement, have you ever wondered how Marine One will protect future presidents? This is where the tiltrotor technology of the V-22 Osprey comes into play. The Osprey is a groundbreaking design that combines the vertical takeoff and landing capabilities of a helicopter with the speed and range of a fixed-wing aircraft. The Bell Boeing V-22 Osprey tiltrotor aircraft is a unique asset in the U.S. military's fleet, with a design that is truly one of a kind. The Osprey was developed to replace the outdated CH-46E Sea-Knight and CH-53D Sea Stallion helicopters, both medium-lift helicopters. The Osprey can fly twice as fast, 6 times farther, and carry 3 times the payload of the Sea-Knight. What makes the Osprey truly one of a kind is its ability to operate in both short takeoff and landing and vertical takeoff and landing (VTOL) situations. By tilting its rotors vertically, it can take off and land like a helicopter. But once airborne, the rotors can tilt horizontally, transforming this hybrid vehicle into a fixed-wing aircraft. This gives it the ability to land virtually anywhere. Thanks to tilt-rotor technology, the two rotors at the wingtips can rotate upward for vertical takeoff or landing, and rotate forward to fly like a conventional airplane. This allows the Osprey to reach speeds of up to 316 miles per hour and a range of over 1,000 miles, far beyond the capabilities of traditional helicopters. Initially developed in the 1980s, the V-22 Osprey underwent more than 20 years of testing before it was introduced into the U.S. Marine Corps in 2007. The U.S. Air Force with the CV-22B variant and U.S. Navy with the CMV-22B variant later adopted the Osprey, demonstrating the aircraft's flexibility and value. Even Japan's self-defense forces have incorporated the Osprey into their fleet. The Osprey plays a vital role in supporting presidential missions. Its ability to transport security teams, equipment, and support personnel to remote or hard-to-reach locations ensures the flexibility and reliability needed. The capability to land in confined spaces is a significant advantage, particularly in situations requiring rapid response. The V-22 is powered by two Rolls-Royce AE-107C engines, each producing 6,150 shaft horsepower, enabling it to achieve a maximum speed of 295 miles/hour, depending on the variant. It has a range of 1,100 nautical miles, and when equipped with auxiliary fuel tanks, it can extend to 20,100 nautical miles. Technically, it can remain airborne indefinitely, as it is capable of mid-air refueling. Since its primary purpose is to transport troops and equipment rather than engage in direct combat, the Osprey is equipped with just a single .50 caliber machine gun. It is used globally and features corrosion-resistant coatings to protect it from saltwater and harsh environmental conditions. The Osprey has two large rotors, each with 3 blades spinning in opposite directions to generate lift. Because the two rotors spin in opposite directions, there is no need for a tail rotor to provide stability, as with traditional helicopters. The aircraft's wing structure contains a pivot mechanism that tilts the engines between airplane and helicopter modes, generating lift during airplane mode. This tilt-rotor aircraft can transition seamlessly from helicopter mode to airplane mode in just 12 seconds. The Osprey's two rotors, each with blades measuring 38 feet in length, are powered by Allison AE-1107C turboshaft engines, capable of generating over 6,000 horsepower per rotor. Each engine independently powers its respective rotor and also transmits some energy to the gearbox located at the center wing, which controls the tilt mechanism. In the event of engine failure, the Osprey can operate with a single engine. In such cases, the remaining engine's power is distributed to both rotors through a drive shaft, linking them together. Its advanced electronics, including a digital cockpit with system status displays and maps, along with a triple redundant flight control system, ensure maximum safety. Despite its many advantages, the Osprey faces some challenges. The heat generated by its engines can damage the decks of aircraft carriers, prompting the Navy to test heat-resistant coatings and use portable heat shields. From Iraq to Afghanistan and Libya, the V-22 Osprey has proven its value in critical operations. With its combination of speed, range, and versatility, the Osprey has not only redefined military logistics, but also opened new possibilities for the future of military aviation.